Hello, beautiful, light-filled souls. Thanks to those of you who signed up for my writing seminar, and thanks to those of you who are in my spiritual community. We're meeting this Wednesday. I love connecting with others on a spiritual path. So it's such a joy and such a privilege that I get to connect with so many of you who are awakened and opening up and developing your abilities. It is just thrilling to see. And I want to weigh in today. There's a lot of spiritual teachers talking about these times. And I'll just give my perspective, which is grounded in my work, as a professor, but it's also grounded in just my own intuitive knowing. In 2020, I did feel the veil thinning, and it was exciting. It was thrilling. I was like, oh my God, during quarantine, many people are going to learn deeper things about spirituality. They're going to learn things about meditation. They're going to get really clear about energy and who they want in their lives, who they don't, who drains them, who is toxic and who is codependent. Like there's going to be a lot of awakenings around the flow of energy and what is possible in our own connections, and people's gifts are going to be ignited in certain ways, and might seem strange to them at times, but it also can be beautiful. People's dreams could get deeper and open up in profound ways. So, was there a greater awakening? Yes, without a doubt. And I can see it as I return to the classroom, and my students have a language for spirituality that I haven't seen in the past. They have a knowing. Certainly, when I was in college in 1994, after my near death experience, I would have loved to have been around young people who had an understanding of healing, of what narcissistic abuse is, what spiritual healing is, of what energy healing is, of what shifting one's consciousness can be. And I think the idea of coupling intention with getting a degree, or whatever it is you're doing in life, that if your intention is pure and in the right place and you keep focusing on what it is you want, then a lot more can be achieved when you're in school or when you're starting a new venture, writing a book. Everything is about getting to that purest light and really being in that flow of God, of creativity, of your own divine connection to source, and really letting go of ego. What remains true, no matter how many conflicting ideas there are, and how extreme people can become in their politics or in their spiritual beliefs, what never changes and what remains universal and true is that kindness does help people. It helps them no matter where they are in life. And there are so many people who are hurting and deserve our kindness, that if you are in a position of power in any way, or if you are able to offer kindness to this world, it's one of the best things that you can do. And not just to people who think like you or believe like you, but to all people. And I think that's what's really important about polarized times, is kindness and love and unconditional love can land into the lives of everyone. Doesn't mean you have to go spread it, to someone who has been toxic or abusive or has drained you in some way, but you can offer it to the world in safe ways, and you can offer it to yourself. There's always greater self-love and healing that is possible. And on that topic of narcissism and narcissistic abuse, some of the things that I've learned recently from taking Lisa Romano's course, but it's always a deepening. It's like I knew this, but then it's like a deepening of what's already deep, if that makes sense. I do hold myself accountable, and I do look at my part in things. And that has always been a saving grace, along with humor, is to be able to grow. I mean, if you can't grow, then how is anything going to change? If you can't shift directions, if you can't look at what you're doing and what you're doing that can be changed, then how in the world are you going to have a different outcome? So you can hold yourself lovingly accountable, is what Lisa Romano says. And I love that, because it's a It's a kindness to the self, it's a tenderness of going, oh, okay, I see this. And then it's looking at your triggers, and then it's holding on to that knowledge and practicing it when triggered later, and really continuing to love yourself through that moment of being accountable. So, very often, within me and with others, the emotional body and the emotional system contains these deep memories and these deep, deep imprints from childhood, and a fear response can be ignited based on what people do or say or how they connect with you. And what's important is to learn that you can't change, outcomes, and you can't change situations. What you can do is reparent and love yourself and switch directions. And that is, you know, a beautiful part of accountability. However, with spiritual healing and with everything else, you can regain your power that has been lost. And that's what I love telling people who are just coming out of narcissistic relationships. That's one of the reasons why I love theta healing, is there is a way to return your energy at quicker and quicker rates. And just holding that intention and that belief makes it so. So one thing I do want to talk about in these times is intention. So with a lot of conflicting ideas and beliefs, and all kinds of theories that are put out there, be careful what you give power to with your words, with your intention, and with your belief, because you need to be tuning yourself into what you want and letting go of fear. So, not thinking about what you don't want, but focusing on what you do want. We've seen enough of what we don't want. So, focus on what you want and keep that direction. And when it comes to beliefs about anything, um, just do not focus on what you do not agree with. So, and I'll have to give an example of something, and this could offend someone, it could trigger someone, but it's literally just an example. It could be anything that I'm throwing here into this conversation. But I've heard in the spiritual community some people saying that people who've had the vaccine have a grayness in their aura. And then other people have said, yes, I've seen that too. And I think that that's just an intention, to see that, or a coupling up of ideas. You don't have to see that. You can see that, some people can assimilate a vaccine, this vaccine, any vaccine, and be completely in the light and have nothing affecting their aura. You can believe that you are stronger than COVID, you are stronger than the vaccine, you are a light in connection with divinity and in connection with flow. And you can know that your light healing and your light body is not compromised by the water that you drink, that you assimilate it well, that you take care of yourself in pure ways. You can always let go of toxins and let go of ideas that may be toxic, and focus differently. Because as we move, and this I just know this from being in spirit, so we manifest very quickly in spirit. So as the physical form begins to be informed more by the spiritual world, then we start manifesting more quickly. So if you're thinking about things that you fear, it will show up more quickly. If you're thinking about things that you love and you're excited about, it will also show up more quickly. So move in the direction of joy. And this can help you when you think about the afterlife as well. There's always fear to leaving the body and transitioning, because we're very much in this body. But what do you want to experience in that realm? What do you want to experience here? What can you experience here without bending the will of anyone else? What can you experience in pure joy while in physical form, for the highest good? What can you experience in spirit for the light? And there is so much that is possible. So how do you enjoy life? And that's another shift that I'm seeing in a lot of people. I'm just not going to do something if it doesn't bring me joy. You may have noticed I'm not interviewing as much as I did in the past. I will return to it. I will interview people from time to time when my joy for it returns and I have some things working behind the scenes. There are a few people on my radar who I may interview this next year in 2022, or maybe slightly before during the winter break. But I am overloaded with work at the campus and really just enjoying connecting with writers and with those in my spiritual community and connecting with my community here in the Metroplex. So, what is important to me is to shift into joy, to shift into pure intentions, and to know that you're more powerful than you realize. You can get your power back from those who have taken it. You can have God return all that you have lost in a single instant. If you have that intention, you know that if you hold that intention, you can return to strength. You can return to power. You can return far more quickly than you realize. And be careful what you send out into the world. And be careful what you say. Yes, this is absolute truth. Because what I know and what we all should know, having lived long enough, is that what is absolute truth right now could be just false 10 years from now. So, whatever belief, if you're highly polarized, just take a breath and go, you know what? Everything that we're thinking right now could be wrong, but you know what's never wrong? Kindness. You know what's never wrong? Healing. You know what's never wrong? Having a beautiful intention, moving forward in the light. You know, these are things that are never wrong. Returning your individual power so that you can feel alive and excited about your mission on this planet and clearer about your mission. And then as we move into a time where we're changing systems and we're looking at what works and what doesn't work, you do need that energy and you do need that community to make it work together and to hold intentions that are beautiful in the light together and to stop giving power to all the negativity that is out there and all the fear that is out there, because these things may exist because of collective fears and collective energies. But I mean, I didn't come back, to dwell in fear. I don't think many near-death experiencers did, even though we may have moments of real literal terror and fear in these bodies. What we came back is to remind people to turn on their lights, to be in the flow of divinity, to know that in a single instant, Joe Dispenza talks about this. If your intention is strong enough to heal, you can overcome something. If your intention is strong enough to manifest something, you can do it in that instance. So if your intention is strong enough in this moment to shift directions, to drop a bad habit, to change in some way, you can. I mean, I've done this. I know it's possible. You can, in a single instant, just as if the stars and all of the cosmos is shining on you and helping you along the way, you can shift directions if your intention is strong enough. So, if all of us have a greater intention for light, for healing, for joy, for kindness, for spiritual exploration of what is possible here in life and what is possible in that next realm, then life will begin to change. So I look forward to eventually bringing you interviews, and I look forward to connecting with you in various ways. You can see the links below. May you be blessed.